It's kind of weird how many gemstones are named after animals. Like, we have tiger's eye, cat's eye, zebra jasper, serpentine, Dalmatian stone, the list goes on. So in my Steven Universe inspired story, I put them in their own little tribe that I call Beast Gems. Hello everyone, my name is Savannah and welcome to my studio. Today's video is brought to you by Gorka Diaz Baz 8292, who has been asking me to draw Hawk's Eye for a while now. I'll talk more about that later, but for now, be sure to give this video a like, share it with your Steven Universe loving friends, subscribe and all that stuff that me and YouTube like, and maybe consider becoming a patron to read all about these gem characters that I make. Now let's just flap on into the drawing. So I had no idea that Hawk's Eye was even a gemstone, and I'm going to be calling it Hawkeye for the remainder of the video because it is very slightly easier to say. Now, I don't know if I just wasn't recording for the preliminary sketch or something, but I found this 3D model of a harpy in Clip Studio's free assets, and I used it to make this cool pose like she's coming in for the landing or going to kick you in the face, whichever one you're into more. I wanted to give her bird-like features in her face, so she has this sharp nose and beak-like mouth. I thought about putting her gemstone in her mouth, but then I was like, no, that would be kind of weird, so instead it's going to be on her back between her wings, kind of like with Jade and Bloodstone. I didn't base her off of any bird or hawk in particular, just a harpy with the gem's colors. I also found out that Hawk's Eye is actually a rare blue variant of Tiger's Eye, so that's pretty neat. I was just going to make Blue Tiger's Eye a fusion of tiger and something else, but now that I know it's actually its own category of gemstone, I had to make her a whole other character, and I love her. Even though she's technically classified as a beast gem, she isn't really part of their tribe. She's a little chaotic loner that just shows up to be weird. I actually have a plan for her to be kind of a minion for a future character who may or may not be an antagonist. Not all of the antagonists are going to be the metal monsters. Some are other gems. I only have a few whose roles I have fleshed out, so I still don't know what I'm going to do with Hawkeye, but her being this little chaos gremlin is just really cute to me. Sometimes I think of the character's personality and role in the story first, and then sometimes I wait to see how I draw them to decide on what they're going to do. The only concept I had going into this drawing was harpy, but after sketching out her face, I knew exactly what her personality was going to be. She is freedom incarnate. And I know I just said she's going to be a minion, but that's because she chooses to. She wants to be. She is a bird, and birds are like the embodiment of freedom, able to go wherever they please, whenever they want. So even though Hawkeye is pretty extra and kind of a loner, she does have a few close relationships to people that she is loyal to. One of them just happens to be a possible antagonist, so she is kind of antagonist adjacent. So when I say she's a loner, I don't mean she's antisocial and never goes around society. I just mean she does whatever she wants and doesn't adhere to the rules of any tribe. So she either lives alone or with her one scary friend, who I will reveal in a different video. But she is nice and quirky, and can even be annoying, but she's fun. I haven't written her into the story yet, as I just made her last week, but I have been brainstorming a lot on what she's going to do in the story. She's sort of gonna be a playing both sides kind of character. I don't know, it's still a work in progress, but that's the idea right now. And if you want to see where that eventually goes before the comic comes out, you can read all of my written chapters that I have over on my Patreon for just $10 a month as part of the Dazzling Designers tier and up. I also finally decided on a name for this story instead of just calling it My Gem Story. It is called Stardust Dreams. It sounds fancy and romantic. But anyway, back to the actual design. I struggled with her clothes for a while, like I just didn't know what to put on this bird. I knew her pants were going to be poofy and feathery and kind of look like they're just part of her body, and I just think that's so funny. Are those pants or just her legs? It's kind of a Jotaro hat hair situation. But for the top, I had no idea what I wanted to do, especially at this angle that I drew her. I thought of like a feathery shawl or something, like a little cape, but I don't know, it was just annoying me because I wanted to show off more of her body in this dynamic pose. I eventually settled on this little leafy kind of top that barely covers her boobs. I just like under boob and side boob and all kind of boobs really. And with everything I just said about her freedom, it makes sense that she wouldn't want to be restricted by too much fabric. Honestly, a big inspiration as I was designing her was Tira from Soul Calibur. Nice. She's this kind of chaotic bird-themed jester thing, and honestly, she was one of my favorite characters to play. I just love this hula hoop of death. Also another justification for the underboob. Look, don't judge me. I've been using the curved line tool a lot more just to make the process a lot quicker, because gosh, it takes me so long to get the perfect rounded shape and it's super annoying to see me draw and press undo over and over again like a million times. I mean, I still do that, but it's a lot less now. I don't really remember my reasoning for making her hair all of these soft, round, goopy kind of shapes. I guess I just wanted it to look flowy, and my gosh, it is just so cute. She's so cute and I love her so much. Maybe I'll actually name her Tira, even though it has nothing to do with the gem at all. Like how Sunstone and Moonstone have different names that are only kind of related to their gem. Sunstone is Sora, which is Japanese for sky, and the sun is in the sky. That is a very loose connection. Moonstone is Nikini, which means full moon in the Sri Lanka language. So it makes sense that Hawkeye is named after Tira, who was was an afterthought inspiration behind her design. For her weapon or power, I don't really think she needs any. She can already fly, probably really fast, and she has those talons that can do a lot of damage. Maybe she has like a sonic screech or something. That was partially the idea behind putting the gemstone in her mouth. Like, she is a bird who can't sing, or in this case talk, at all, but she can scream with the power of her gemstone. I sort of scrapped that idea after Victor was like, that's weird and doesn't make sense, and I was also kind of like, yeah, how does she communicate? But maybe she can make little chirp noises, just not form actual words because of the gem. I don't know. I still like the idea of her gemstone being on her tongue or something, but you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I messed around with the colors for a bit because I couldn't decide what her main color should be. Like, obviously blue, but I wasn't sure how much blue and orange I should put in or where it should go. I eventually landed on light blue skin, dark blue, nearly black feathers, and this navy blue for her accents. The orange and brown would be represented in her hair and feet, and then I decided to give her this cool pattern on her wings, and it just makes me so happy that I was able to make something like this. I like how she kind of looks like she's part of indigenous folklore or something. I don't know, these colors just give me that vibe. I also use this fingertip kind of blender to give more depth to the shading and highlights so the wings look like they're actually made of feathers. And OMG, I just loved coloring her hair, and it reminded me of Amber before I blended it all together. And now I'm really excited to draw Amber, because of course it's going to be a gem. I might base them off of my bearded dragon whose name is Ember, because she is such a character. She is picky, prissy, and sassy, and doesn't care for us very much, unless she is on one of us, like out playing. Like, when we try to pet her or feed her veggies while she's in her tank, she just closes her eyes and turns away, telling us to leave her alone. She is so cute. So yeah, something like that. That was an unnecessary tangent. I don't know if I've said before, but there are only beast gems on Xoldas, and here's the planet that I made. Xoldas has one moon, Umbra, that also has its own little moon in its orbit, Lyra. Oh, and here are the other ones too. Volak and its moon, that is actually made of magma, Thalaros, and Burin and all 6 of its moons. Starting from the top right and going in a circle, we have Lumarith, Eldrune, Ecliptica, Aranth, Mahina, and Astaroth. I will go over these more later in a more in-depth lore video that I plan on making, but for now I just wanted to show off my pretty planets. Anywho, here is my lovely girl, Tira the Hawkeye. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and Gorka Diaz Baz 8292, I hope this is something like what you had in mind when you requested this character. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, go check out my Patreon and all that. A shout out to my lovely patrons Tony Brady, PokePoke18, and Tamara Springberg. You are all so wonderful. As always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.